presents a platform with presence in over 30 states of the Federation. Be sure to be had. For live coverage of events, we have the capacity to deliver from anywhere in Nigeria and beyond. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733, 014-533-407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Finance. The core principle here is that the Central Bank of Nigeria will act as a financial catalyst by targeting predetermined sectors that can create jobs on a mass scale and significantly reduce our import bills. The Central Bank of Nigeria will deploy developmental initiatives to create an enabling environment with appropriate incentives to empower innovative entrepreneurs to drive growth and development. The bank's developmental functions will include credit allocations and direct interventions in key sectors of the Nigerian economy such as power, agriculture, medium and small-scale industries, oil and gas, and the health sectors. While playing an active developmental role, the Central Bank of Nigeria will not only operate within the law and its mandate, but will also be transparent about what it believes as strategic and appropriate interventions. These processes of private sector investors who will place more of their resources at risk in funding the SMEs. At the moment, the Central Bank of Nigeria has a number of initiatives, including the 220 billion naira to finance small and medium-scale enterprises.
The new CBN governor there, Godwin Emefiele, showcasing his blueprint as he takes over. And of course, he's saying that through his vision for his country, he would create a central bank that is apolitical, that is professional, and no doubt people-focused. Thanks for joining us on Cool Digest today as we begin to talk about Emefiele and CBN. What's in an agenda? I'm joined now by Bimbo Fagade, our business editor. Good morning, Bimbo.
Good morning, Ifemi.
It's good to have you again.
Thank you very much.
Alongside Marcel Umbamalu, he is the editor head of news and business desk with the Sunday Garden. Good morning, Marcel.
Good morning, Femi.
Thank you for finding time
Nice
to join
to
us. Now, let me start with you, Marcel. Given the conditions that brought Emefiele into office, would you agree that he is under any particular pressure to perform?
Yeah, thank you, Femi. I must say that Emefiele is coming at a very auspicious time, at a very interesting time, at a very critical time. You know, when the activities of the CBN has been, under pressure, the operations of the CBN itself has been under pressure. You know, he's coming at a time Nigerians are really expecting much from the Apex Bank. I must say he should be under pressure, and he knows that. And that's why if you listen to his speech when he was talking yesterday, he talked about running a people-centric, CBN, slashing interest rates, not devaluing the naira, and ensuring that there is stability in exchange rate. The pressure that he is going to face in the first and foremost is from the political perspective, because for some time now, the CBN has been somehow, either by commission or omission, the CBN has been seen to be political or politicized to an extent, not just by the governor that was there or by whoever, but by the circumstances within the Nigerian state, and he's coming at a time already. If you read the papers, you will see that some executives that we are under the reforms of the former CBN governor, who were actually asked to go and things like that, they're already kicking and saying they were not fairly treated. So this governor actually is going to be under pressure to do much more.
It's all right.
And if not better than his predecessor.
Bimbo, how good is this pressure? How bad do you think it is, on his responsibility as the governor of the CBN?
Okay, I will start by saying no matter what the pressure is, yeah, it's either good or bad. It has to do with the results it eventually brings out. Now, it becomes a good pressure if it's able to meet up with people's expectation and much more. Now, it becomes bad if it's unable to deliver what he says in the stand agendas that he will be able to do. For instance, I look at the lending rates. I look at his ability, when he talks about creating more jobs. Recently people have been talking about what the lending rate in the country has been, the two digits, which was somehow pegged at 12%. And people are saying, is this something that they can actually bring us to a single digit? So it can enable entrepreneurs, because private sectors are employers of, are huge employers of the labor market. So we're saying, okay, if you can do this for the entrepreneurs, for small and medium-scale business people, they'll be able to create more jobs. So unemployment rate in the country, in a way, is going to be reduced. So before the speech even went on, there's been a whole lot of things trending the internet, but more from the capital market, more from the banking sector, that's okay, let's be able to access funds to run our businesses. So the more businesses we open up, the more people we can actually hire, the more people can bring into the employment force. So, like I said, the good pressure is if he can deliver and deliver more beyond his expectation, and it's bad when he under-delivers.
It's all right. If you check Godwin Emefiele's credential, he has a beautiful credential, first class, top in his class, all through his academic ladder, and of course given Zenith Bank a new name, close to 100 billion after tax profit, the first of its kind in Nigeria. Having qualified people in leadership in Nigeria hasn't been the problem. Of course, as we speak right now, the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy used to be with the World Bank as well. Now, the challenge has been having them translate their wealth of knowledge and experience into realistic economic life to the average Nigerian. Where do you think the problem lies? We have good people, but then it doesn't really seem to translate into wealth for the average Nigerian.
Thank you, Femi. If you look at I must tell you that the problem with Nigeria is not about people. We have people. The problem is building the right institutions to drive the process. We more or less believe in strong personalities. If you listen in the last, in recent times, you hear people talking about Nigeria, trying to look at its institutions, building credible institutions. We don't talk about personalities here. We have personalities, but the institutions are not right. And I think, like I mentioned before, that the problem with the country is, one, corruption.
Okay.
The system is so corrupted and so corruptive that even if you bring an angel, he will survive just by God's grace. The Nigerians, we pray a lot. I must tell you that even Emefiele, as he's coming on board now, like I mentioned before, is under pressure, because already we see some adverts in the newspapers congratulating the president, thanking the president for appointing their kinsmen, doing that a lot. How do you explain that? The man will be under pressure. That's an explanation of the pressure I was talking about before, that the man naturally will be under pressure because Nigerians, we believe in sycophancy. We need to praise the man. If you go, you see billboards everywhere already, even before. But I know that the new CBN governor, I think I read about him. I know his antecedents. I believe that he will rise above the Nigerian factor, which is sycophancy, corruption, and what I call ethnocentrism, and face the real task of addressing the economy, about doing the right things and getting this economy moving on. Nigerian economy has been rebased. They said now we are, how many? $500 and something billion worth, $500 and something billion, bigger than South African economy that used to be the topmost on the continent. What we need is the right CBN governor, who is apolitical, like he said he will be, we hope he will remain so, who is focused, who is not a member of any political party, who will not be loyal to any political party, who will not be loyal to even the president, but he has to be loyal to Nigerians. So our problem in a nutshell, Femi, is that we have a system that is so corrupt, so corrupted, so corruptive, and so negatively influential to the extent that even a good man won't survive without the grace of God.
It's all right. Emefiele seems to be, obviously conscious of the undercurrents that surrounded the suspension of his predecessor. Now, he said something here, and I'm quoting him now. He said, "We will be apolitical. We will not go into politics. What we will do is to focus on our banking business." Many have questioned the possibility of the independence of a CBN governor. He is the Accountant General of the federal government. That makes him a part of that executive arm. How realistic do you think these claims are?
Well, that what comes to play here is independence. Being able to be given that independence to run the office the way it should be. Yes, like they say, he's the chief accountant of Apex Bank, and he's the advisor to, the federal government as regards whatever happens to the country's monies and all that.
Okay.
If he's saying this about his predecessor, like Master said, even a good person, the moment you step into office, because of the structure that's been in place, you might be influenced because they won't allow you. You have to dance to some certain tunes. Now, the question should be, how well is he ready? Is he ready to go all the way? Can he absorb the pressure when it starts coming? Even if you have your values, will you be able to say, at the end of this tenor, or I can't take this. I have my morals, I have my values, I have, my agenda of what I'm coming to do here, and if you're not going to allow me to do it, I'm going to resign. Will he have that willpower to do that? An average Nigerian wants power. It's something that we crave so much. We want to be in a position whereby we can give others and say, okay, I want this to be done, and it's done, not questioned. The point is sitting on, I can't say it's a time bomb machine, but maybe sitting on a milestone of
gunpowder.
But what I'm saying right here is, yes, looking at his pedigree, he has this fantastic CV from where he's coming from. He understands his honors when it comes to banking experiences and all that. He can deliver. Yes, that is why he's there. He's, in a way, a political, right? Well, so we want to believe. But what we're saying here is, if you're at this point saying his predecessor was in the way dancing to, the tune of whatever happened that made him lose office before the time was meant for him to be gone. So are we saying, can you face what he did?
I understand.
Do you understand? So at this point, we're saying, okay, this guy has come, it's done his thing, it's gone, that's Salami. Now you're here, Emefiele, we want results.
It's all right. Marcel, you made mention of corruption in the system. Now, is there any possibility of having an individual who will do what is supposed to be done, irrespective of the corrupt system? Do we have a pedigree of that as we speak now? Is there a possibility, especially in the CBN?
Yes, we do. I don't think that the issue of corruption, Nigerians are not generally corrupt. I think that the few influential ones who wield the affairs of the state, who actually control the state affairs, is what rubs off on all of us. Femi, you are not corrupt. I'm sure that the majority of us here are not corrupt. But the problem is that when you now put that kind of corruption around on Nigerians generally, when you get there, the system is what I'm talking about. The system that will not allow you to do what you want to do, even when we have people, mention them, name them. We have the Colades in the private sector, for example, the Colades of this world. We have the annual course in the diplomatic world. We have so many of them, people who can stand and say, this is what we stand for. I don't want to start mentioning politicians because politics is neither here nor there. But I'm talking about credible Nigerians that you can strike a chest. Even Emefiele himself, I was talking, sorry, I'm saying that. I don't think he has had any dent. Even the other ones, his predecessors, before they got there, they didn't have any dent. And let me on a lighter mood say this. I was told by somebody that Emefiele himself, the Emefiele, the name, Emefiele means don't do wrong. In his, it can stand to be proved wrong. Emefiele, I was told, means don't do wrong. And so far, from what I have seen and read and whatever, at the Zenith Bank and whatever, he has stayed with that name. I hope getting to the center now, with all the sacrifices I mentioned before, all the praise and all those things, the adverts and the people, whatever, to congratulate and all those things, he should disregard those adverts. He should disregard those insinuations. He should face his work. I believe, answering your question, Femi, I believe that we have good Nigerians. So far, so good. Emefiele has not proven to be bad. But I hope he continues. There are good Nigerians who can stand. But we need, as Nigerians, support them.
So right.
Support them by allowing the system to work and work normally.
So right, let's get down to business now. Emefiele promised a gradual reduction in interest rates, and that signaled a remarkable shift from the monetary policy of his predecessor. Now, this is the first time in 2 years that the CBN will be aiming to reduce the interest rates to single digits. The rate has, have remained at 12% since 2011. What does that portend to our economy?
Okay, with that rate, I can only say people are just struggling to get by because it is actually, have heard a lot of, businesses where you go to banks, for instance, you want to source for loans and all that. It's something most companies, most industries are saying it's not friendly. They talk about places whereby you go, they compare the US and the UK with what we're doing at the moment, and they're saying, do we really have a structure? Do we really have a government that really cares about the macroeconomic side, of the country? Because these are the people that makes up the first of what we're talking about. These people have what it takes, to create a potential market force and employ people. Every day we're talking about the unemployment rates, and of course we can still remember very well what happened during the what's it called now, the last custom exercise.
That recruitment exercise.
Exactly. That got so many people. Yes.
The immigration stuff.
Immigration, NIS.
So I want to believe if, as an undergraduate, you've been sensitized, or you believe that the moment I'm out of here, there are jobs waiting. And how can those jobs be ready, or how can those jobs be made available? It's also because they can access funds at a rate which is also friendly, which they can work around with. And so they're saying that rate is punitive, and at this point, it's a good thing if you can go ahead and reduce it.
It happens.
But Massa, how realistic do you think that is?
Yes, when we talk about the interest rates, and actually say 12%, the interest rate in Nigeria is not 12%. And I know that's why Emefiele, like I told you, don't do wrong, is worried about that and is making a move. But it's not going to be, I must tell you, Femi, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be simple. When you talk about 12%, you don't get loans at 12%. You get at over 20%. So the 2 digits, when it says double digit, it starts from, once it's 10, it's already double digit. There's already 10%, 12%, whatever. Who can take loan? How many businessmen will take loan at 20%, 22%?
Officially on paper, it's actually 12%.
yeah, that's the point I'm making. And then make profit. The 12% we're talking about is the MPR. Like I told you, the MPR, the central bank's rate. Actually, the banks get the loan. The banks go to the central bank. They get at 12%. So when you hear the federal government say we MPR 12%, it's not that you, Femi, and I could go to the bank and get at 12%. Banks get at 12%, but they are at liberty now to charge, to make profit, because they will also make profit. They pay the CBN 12%, for example. I'm just explaining the layman's perspective, 12%, but they now go back to do their business. By the end of the day, all the charges put everything, you get loan close to 30%, 26, 27, 22, and it's worrisome. And by the end of the day, I'll ask you, if you borrow 1 million at 20%, the difference, that's 200 at 20%, just at the minimum rate level. 20%, that is 200,000. And that means they are going to repay the loan at 2,200,000.
Okay.
Maybe in a month or 2 months or 6 months time or whatever. And then you are going to produce products. You are going to sell them. You're going to hire staff. You're going to pay salaries. You're going to do all of those. And then you need to make at least 3 million for you to break even, for you to be able to stay in business. So it's not realistic to keep interest rates at 12%. But I'm saying that's MPR at 12%, the CBN rate at 12%. But what I'm saying is there are still other things that need to be done. Banks will complain. They will tell you that the atmosphere, the business environment is not good enough for them because they run on generators, the roads are bad, the this and whatever. And that's part of the reason the former dispensation at the CBN tried to actually help the banks to make some money. You know, so I think that it's doable, but just as Emefiele himself pointed out, it's also very, very critical, very, very dicey, because trying to keep the interest rate at single digit and trying to maintain exchange rate at a favorable position, the two functions don't normally work together. It's going to be very, very difficult for him to do, but he knows, like he said he has means of doing that. He knows what he's going to do. And looking at his background, his academic antecedents, his professional antecedents, and his, so to speak, character. You know, right now, before now, he has been in the private sector. He has not been exposed, which was what I was trying to say. He hasn't been exposed to the public sector, to the center where things happen. No, I hope that his credibility, his integrity, and his tenacity in the private sector that took Zenith Bank to where it is now will come to bear on
It's all right.
at the CBN.
One major issue, one major challenge is the challenge of unemployment in Nigeria. Now, Emefiele says that the Apex Bank would incorporate job creation in its monetary policy, and that, of course, will open up employment opportunities for the nation's teeming young population. Now, but then there's been a lot of issues around self-employment. Government will say, don't just go to school and come back looking for jobs. And there's been a lot of promises as regards empowering small and medium-scale unemployment. He made mention of an amount of about $200 million. What exactly do you think can be done to empower those young people, make funds available for them as capital?
Okay, it said something also that it was going to establish a secured transaction and the National Collateral Registry, which will enable entrepreneurs and small business people to access funds. Now, I strongly believe that what that means is, you know, most times when you go to banks to source for funds to run your businesses, they ask for some form of documentations, which also comes in form of collateral. Now, if we're saying you're going to start with a national collateral department or registry, it's going to make it a lot easier for creditors to come and access, because that simply means you're given part to you know, they're like a body. Right. So they go ahead and checkmate to those things that is, you're saying, I don't have the kind of collateral you want me to bring, but I need this fund to access or to push my business forward. So in a way, of course, it's going to help the economy. It's going to help business people as well, because, you know, like I said, private sector has always been known to be the highest employer of labor. So the moment we're able to shelve it a little bit into, you know, the self-employed kind of people, into the small, medium enterprise based people as well, it's of course open up more business opportunity, and which can also help us with the monetary policy rates as well.
It's already empowering small and medium-scale businesses and making funds available to them. What role exactly do you think the CBN has to play in all of that?
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you, Femi. First and foremost, let me tell you that the CBN cannot employ, cannot produce, cannot supply employment to Nigerians
Directly.
automatically. You know, government, nowhere in the world, there's nowhere in the world you have government just in the vibrant economies. When I talk nowhere in the world, I'm talking about vibrant economies, you know, capitalist economies like we pretend to have in Nigeria, you know, where you have government employing the whole lot. You know, you create the enabling environment. You make the productive sector, the real sector work. You create the incentives, first and foremost, that will help people get cheap loans, go into production, employ people. You make the business environment favorable enough for people to go into a business. The cost of venturing into a business will be so minimal and whatever. Having said that, you know, and to your question on
The role of the CBN.
on the role of the CBN in ensuring that there is an employment, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and helping SMEs to grow. What I'm saying, there have always been fund for SMEs in Nigeria. It's not today. It's been there. But even now, I think in recent times we started feeling a bit of impact in the last 6 months or thereabout or whatever. But what I'm saying is, it's been there, billions of naira through the intermediaries, agencies, BOI and whatever. And by the end of the day, you don't get to see the impact on the productive sector. What the CBN should do is just what Emefiele said he will continue to do now, he will begin to do, to make interest rates cheap, lending rates specifically, to be cheap, to be affordable. When people can have access to credit, there's a whole lot you can do. You can start your own business. You can create a lot of things because you can have access to funds. It's only in Nigeria that we have people saving money to start business. It's not done. You don't run business with. You go to a bank, you get loan, then you pay interest on that loan because it's affordable. You can dare to take the loan and you pay. So you don't need to save money from go to your uncles or your friends or whatever to borrow money to start business. You go to bank. That's why the bank is there. It's only in Nigeria that we see some banks talking about making profit through other things other than loan, giving credit to the economy. So what the CBN should do in a nutshell, I think, is to, first of all, ensure that interest rates, lending rates is low. Make sure the monetary policies are right in terms of inflation rates, control inflation, exchange rate stable. If it faces, Emefiele faces monetary policies of the CBN, monetary role of the CBN, policy regulation role of the CBN, and does it to the letter, I'm sure that the economy will kick up and businesses will begin to thrive. But for now, businesses only manage to survive.
You recall that at the zenith of Sanusi's tenure as a CBN governor, we saw some bank chiefs literally jailed for involving in sharp practices and all of that. Now, Emefiele is also saying that he is ready to blacklist all fraudulent bank debtors and block them from obtaining further access to bank loans. Sanusi made his own enemies. Is Emefiele ready to make enemies again, and how do you think that will also impact on his performance as the governor?
Sometimes, you know, there's things like what needs to be done needs to be done. If you need to drive home a point, sometimes you need to make more enemies than make friends. He's ready to blacklist, you know, the bank debtors because they're creating more bad debts for the banks in a way, in a way which is also affecting them, not being able to put together enough funds to help whoever needs, you know, fundings for whatever transactions they want to do. It's affecting their what's it called, the inflation rate. It's affecting quite a whole lot of things. So for me, it's a good thing that's going to do that. But the thing is, he should go ahead and do what he needs to do, get results. And don't mind the number of enemies you're going to make. Maybe you're good at it or not, you're still going to make enemies anyways. That's going to talk bad about you. But go ahead and do whatever you want to do to get results. At least leave a legacy behind. We look today at whatever Sanusi has done. We can say, okay, what has Sanusi done during his tenure when he came in? Oh, okay, from a certain number of banks, you know, they were reduced. It asked them to merge together, you know. And today we could say, oh, how many banks do we have? Unlike then, we couldn't count the number of banks we had, you know. So now people are looking, most of these banks are also looking into their purses and saying, oh, can we afford to open another location? No, let's generate more funds. Let's just stay where we are. Let's look how well we can make more money, and we can say, oh, this is what we made at the end of the year. So if Sanusi could do that, you know, making them come together, merge, you know, buy into yourself and create better structures. It's for me, it's making the banking structure stronger. So at this point, we don't need debtors who will also run down those banks.
It's all right, Basil, but we come back, we'll be talking about how realistic and how feasible that is. Some will tell you that these bank debtors are really big names and pillars. It's just like we have the cabals in the oil and gas sector. And possibly that was one of the mistakes that Sanusi made, and that is responsible for his fate. When we come back, we'll also discuss about the differences, not only as the name changed from Sanusi to Emefiele. As we speak right now, he has directed banks to stop with immediate effect all cash deposit charges. Now, we're going to find out how all of these altogether impact on our economy as a nation and impact on our lives as Nigerians. That will be after the news this hour. Don't go away.
Nigerians continue to
Tonight, the city of Lagos once again.
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa, we break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core
TV, a 24-hour news station.